Welcome back, and after matters IEBC reconstitution, we are looking at two issues here. I had mentioned cervical cancer. We'll be looking at cervical cancer at about 11:30 there with Dr. Maranga. But allow me now to also chip in matters publication. And for that, very quickly, allow me to introduce a lady and a gentleman. Beginning from my immediate left, we have Ivy Wangui. Ivy is a senior editor at Solano Publication, and just next to her we have Zachary Kabera, who is not only an author but also a publisher at Solano Publication. And very quickly, this is something that he has been able to publish. He's calling it Unshaken, more or less like an inspiration, finding your true north through life's trials. And there's something that I have been able to pick up here: to all the unwavering souls who refuse to bend under the weight of life's storm. I'm quite sure everybody is passing through a storm of a kind in his or her own life. But allow me to very quickly introduce them. Beginning with you, Bona Kabera. What is the current state of publishing in the country? And we're looking at books. Most people are on phones,
yes,
including e-books as well.
Yes.
What is the current state in the country?
People are yearning. Can I greet the viewers as well?
Yes, yes, by all means.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, viewers. I also want to appreciate for this opportunity, even to talk about this publishing and the authorship. Thank you, Ben Troy, for this. I want to say that people are yearning for information, and they are yearning for help. And probably, even if the culture seems to be dying, at the end of the day, we want to keep the hope alive about reading, getting information, getting help, because that is what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And that is why, even when you're talking about authorship, even with self-publishing, we have to do it. Maybe there may be some challenges here and there, you know, like the self-publishers and all that. And that is why we have the rights of Solano, who are coming in to help the self-publishers. So that we create that culture, and we have to keep the hope alive about, let us read, let's get the information.
And I'm saying this because if you have been very keen, you have noticed that even newspapers, lots of them, are now switching to digital platforms as well.
Sure.
Ivy, I'm looking at how the rise of digital platforms, e.g. e-books or online platforms, has really impacted traditional publishing.
It has been a growing curve for the last decade, but it's been an amazing journey as well. We have to accept that we're growing, technology is booming, and we have to integrate. So yeah, it has impacted traditional publishing, but what it has done is it has forced us to adapt. So most publications now are like, for Zach here, we want to start working on an ebook as well, so that it's available even to young readers who maybe might think getting print is hard or it's expensive or actually it's just out of reach. We are going to work on ebooks, and that's what we do with Solano. We try to distribute books, be it ebooks, be it audiobooks. Yeah.
Yeah, and Zach, I'm looking at the reading culture in the country. Yes. Even before the the invention of digital technology, the reading culture, and especially in developing countries, had not been quite good, because even the access to such a book could be quite expensive for people. But now we have online platforms and ebooks as well. How do we inculcate the reading culture? Because we are not about to just get rid of traditional publishing.
Yes. We are not going to give up. Of course, the platforms has changed everything. The dynamics have changed. But at the end of the day, that information is required. And that is what she's saying. We need, like this book, let us put it on an e-platform so that we can accommodate even the new readers, because we have to allocate that culture. That's what I'm saying. But it, of course, is a bit challenging. But if you think ignorance is something, then let us see the cost of it.
All right, and we'll also be looking at some of the challenges you guys are facing, because I know this is quite something to put your ideas together, to look for market, to sell this thing, and to ensure that people are reading books, just not on social media as well. But for now, let's first of all cross over to the KICC, where PS Dr. Raymond Omolo, who is the PS for Interior, is currently at the swearing-in of the committee, the 42-member committee that has been tasked with looking into cases of femicide in the country. Let's first of all listen in.
Issues around morality, and it calls on all of us to have a much more broader view of things. Yes, the women and the girls are most affected, actually, the majority. But then Harriet has spoken about the boy child as well. And it is something that is very easy to forget, or to imagine that the male gender is not actually affected. I think there's a lot that has been done to bring up the girl child, to the point that the boy child either feels intimidated or is neglected. And some of that happens quite unconsciously within the society that we live in. If you have children, you have girls and boys, you always ask boys to man up and just ensure that the girls are well taken care of. So they grow up very confident. They probably are able to get the very best. Later on, when they're trying to interact with their male colleagues, then the situation gets exacerbated. My other point is that I know that the timelines are pretty tight. We are actually behind schedule. And I have no doubt in my mind that we'll try and work within the timelines that were set. But should there be a need for us to have a review, I think through the chair and the team, it's possible that we can always have those conversations. But the challenge is huge, and we cannot afford to waste any more time. Let me then go through what our chief guest would have spoken to. And to the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission and commissioners present, the vice chairperson and commissioners of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the president's advisor on women rights, esteemed members of the Principal Secretary's Oversight Committee, the chairperson, members and secretariat of the Technical Working Group, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We convene today immediately after you've subscribed to your respective oaths of office as chairperson, members and of the Technical Working Group on gender violence, including femicide. You've been entrusted by His Excellency the President on behalf of the people of Kenya with a mandate of recommending measures to GBV, and this is a very consequential task given the central place of family as a basic unit of society and the basis of society and the inherent dignity of individual freedom. The family building, and no nation can above the quality of values collectively exposed at the family level. As a society, we must work to strengthen our family units and promote the existence of partners in the intimate relationship, as well as resolution of disputes in marriages, forms of relationship. The social order and action of the dignity, freedoms and security of individuals in our nation is threatened by the cases of gender-based violence, the killing of women and girls, generally referred to as femicide. Now, as you are aware,
that has been PS Raymond Omolo, doctor, talking about actually during the swearing in of the 42-member committee that has been tasked by the president to look into the many cases of femicide in the country. And just to recap, what he's talked about is ensuring that they keep up with the mandate of the committee, just giving them some pearls of wisdom in regards to how to go about their work. That task force is supposed to begin its work immediately and report to the president. Remember, it was mandated by the head of state. This is KBC News Check, and we are looking at matters publishing on the second hour. A little later, we'll also be looking at cervical cancer as we are celebrating, always having a lot of relook into the cancer that has really claimed a lot of Kenyans and a lot of Africans as well. But back to publishing. Before we left, Bwana Zachary, we were talking about how do we inculcate the reading culture. People want to be on their digital devices. Nobody wants to be, very few wants to pick up a book and write. We really need to look at that as well.
Yes, because if we don't read, ignorance is very costly. And the only thing we can do, we happen to be the generation that was brought up and about books. So which legacy do we leave? That is why we are writing and encouraging in whatever the platform, including the e-platform, to ensure that this message, what we have learned, we document it and put to them. We have to use whatever the means to make sure the message goes home.
And Ivy, I'm looking at how to attract, picking from where Zach has left, I'm looking at how to attract especially the young minds. Maybe book fairs, workshops. These are some interesting things that can attract people to come and maybe, have you thought of maybe, or are there some of the workshops and everything? Because I even remember at KBC we used to have a book called Books and Bookmen, and I used to really love it. Yeah.
I grew up on that. Yeah, there are so many events to bring in readers, to bring back the love for reading. And we're going to be having one in Thika. It's called the Thika Book Fair. And we are in partnership with Solano Publications, and various institutions have come together to help. It's going to be running from the 31st of January, that is this Friday, all the way to the 2nd of February. And on Saturday, 1st February, we're going to be having a workshop for secondary school learners, a workshop on A Parliament of Owls. The author is going to be giving a workshop. We'll also be having the official book launch for Unshaken, the book you have in your hands. It's going to be held at 2 p.m. at Ananas Mall, Makongeni, Thika.
What should we be looking out for, or what shall we expect, and especially those who will attend the book fair?
We're going to be having exhibitions by various authors, independent authors, published authors. We're going to be having the workshops for learners, a creative writing seminar for budding writers. Yeah, it's going to be a weekend full of learning, full of interaction with literature. And I think this is going to do very well for our reading culture as a country.
Zach,
Yes.
how did you come about Unshaken?
Unshaken,
How did the idea?
Unshaken is actually a journey of personal experience. Because of my personal experience, I thought I should document the lessons learned so that they can help people who are going through crisis, who are going through challenges, who are going through problems, but they don't have anybody who can hold their hands. If I may, I have gone through some challenges in life, but I thought this should not kill me. Now that it's never killed me, why can't I document? I think one of the issues, and probably that is not the gist of the book is just a lesson, some lessons, and probably how to surmount the problem. I think I lost my father when I was a bit young. I was in first year in the university. That was a shock. Later, I got married through all that. Then my daughter, who was 16 years, got a kidney disease And from there, we started dialysis. You know, we didn't know what was a kidney disease. You know, you get another bolt, you are shocked in life. You didn't know how to go about it. And then after that, before we did the transplant, she passed on. And I promised, that was about 15 years ago, probably I should write a book. I didn't know how to go about it. Later, the mother, out of the shock, also got sick. And there were a lot of issues, and later she passed on. That is why I felt I have to write a book, because people are going through some of these issues. Later, of course, my mother passed on, and you can be sure they were anchor, you know, my late wife, my mother. Then all of a sudden they have gone. I said, okay, wait a moment. If people go through this and they don't have anybody who can hold their hands, can't I document the lessons I'm learning, and probably I'll help somebody.
Yeah,
that is why the Unshaken.
Ivy, I'm looking at the challenges and opportunities for publishing in the country, and also what are the prospects of growth in matters literature when everything is going digital?
There is a lot of potential there. And I think one thing we need to do is not fight it, embrace the change, embrace the changing of the tides. And there is so much opportunity. We just need to reconnect with that initial love. I remember back in the day, walking into a person's home and finding them with a full library was like amazing. It was such a big honor just to walk into that. And I think we need to bring that back. That's why we are hosting such events. We're also using social media to just educate people and tell them that literature is not boring as people believe. Paperback or it is still the same information, and it's important that we have it. Yeah, and we encourage the young people in our country to find a way to interact with books. It's
Zach,
everywhere.
to put together ideas and write a 303-page book is not something easy. What are some of the challenges that you have faced, and especially when writing this book?
One of the challenges I faced, and the hard moment, and that's a good question, was to relive the experiences, but then to make sure that I document them into words and something that actually can help somebody. You know, you relive moments and all that, but at the end of the day, even as I'm reliving this, I said, wait a moment, it was therapeutic. But somebody will go through this, then they know that they are not alone, and they know that it is doable. I can't die. Yeah.
Ivy, I'm looking at the role the government and other stakeholders in the industry can play so that books are here to stay, whether e-books or online publications. How can other stakeholders help? Because in terms of publishing, a lot has changed. Again, I'm going to go to the digital space, and also the cost. To put such an idea into paper is not something easy.
Yeah, it's not. It's quite a journey. It's a journey. It's a labor of love. We call it a labor of love in the industry. And there's so many things that we can do. Anyone who wants to partner, there are so many opportunities. One person comes up with an idea of a book fair. We go out and we source. We try to mobilize resources. And we even visit some government offices. We have invited, I remember, we've invited the Thika Sub-County Director of Education, and we are hoping that they'll make an appearance. So we want to also reach out to them so that they can support us in any way, shape or form. Yeah.
And how can authors like you, Zach, be supported? Because I'm quite sure there are a number of Kenyans who would want to see this on their phone and read it, whether in the matatu or even they're doing their work.
Yes. Number one, the publishers, the publications like them, this will help. When you get in touch with them, they will help you to put the ideas that you have. Like if you want to write, they have the acumen, they have the resources, and they are willing. Some of us are also willing. That you have an idea, but you don't know how to go about it. But then we will help you. That is one. Number two is ensuring that this book does not just remain in paper. We'll have to do it for anybody. People have been calling me. They are in Canada, they're in America, and it's like, are you going to put it on the E platform? So that anybody who wants to read, the Gen Zs and all that, we want them to be part of this. They are going through challenges. So they want actually somebody to hold their hand, and I'm putting a tool, an instrument, a guide that will take them through. So I don't care if it went on the e-platform and it can help somebody. I'm so happy.
Have you launched it? And if yes, where can Kenyans find this book?
Okay. We, in the book fair, the Thika book fair, and I want to appreciate them for their efforts. This is going, the book launch is going to be one of the sideline activities. And it will be on fast. We are launching the Unshaken on fast at 2 to 4:30 at Ananas Mall. Ananas Mall is in Thika, along Thika Garissa Highway. And they will be there, and we are going to celebrate this milestone.
How much is it going for?
This one is only going for 1,500. It is a worthy investment. It is something that you will like it. Yes.
Ivy, as we wrap up, I'm going to give you a minute each to wrap up your sentiments in regards to the future of publication.
Yeah. The future is bright, and I believe everyone has a story in them, and that story deserves to be told, and every story has a reader. So do not be afraid. We are here to guide you. Here at Solano, we do our best to work with our authors, and we hope that everyone comes for that book fair so that you may learn everything you need to know about publishing and how to do well in authorship.
Zach?
Thank you. Again, I want to appreciate Unshaken is for everybody. Like Ben Troy said, everybody is going through a storm. If you're not going through a storm, I don't know, probably not living in this world. But either you are coming from one, or you are in one, or you are entering into another. And that is why this book is for everybody. Make sure you get a copy, or you get in touch with us so that we organize whatever the platform you want. The other thing is, if you are going through storms, let them not finish you. Don't die. The power of resilience, the power of bouncing back is within you. And if you go through this book, actually that power, you will see it coming out, and you'll be okay. You will live to tell the story. Yes.
Well said, Zachary Kabera. And to be honest, there are some things that I've passed through here, and they're quite interesting on visualization of exercises, setting short-term goals, building your support system step by step. Thank you so much, and all the best with this book. And you're still a student. I see you're doing your PhD.
Yes.
Still on Matters Publishing?
Actually, no. I'm a PhD student pursuing leadership and organizational management. And actually, allow me to say this, that after the Unshaken, there are other books that are coming. There is one called Navigating Turbulence in Business. And there is also corporate governance. There is governance in the trenches.
Okay.
That one I'm going to help people who are in the business to navigate through. It's about resilience.
And talking about leadership, to be honest, our leaders really need to read that book, because we have a governance and leadership issue in the country.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, we are out of time. I love reading books.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Zachary Kabera, who is the author and publisher, Solano Publication. He has authored this book that is called Unshaken, Finding Your True North Through Life's Trials. Just next to him, we have Ivy Wangui, who is a senior editor at Solano Publication. We are looking at the art of publication and actually just trying to see where we are, taking stock of where we are. Thank you so much for watching. We are now be switching our focus. Let's still the lens and focus on matters health. January being celebrated as Cervical Cancer Month. We will be looking at matters cervical cancer. So anything that you need to know, we will be having Dr. Aurora Maranga next in just a minute.